I'm still, you're stuck with these president for a while, kid. There's no way out, okay? You got me for at least another 100 or 90 days or so.
President Joe Biden on the tarmac earlier this morning taking reporters' questions, saying that we've got him for another 90 days or so. Welcome in Illinois in Focus Daily. Getting another crack at it this morning on a Friday. Initial stream didn't start properly, but we're back at it live here with Illinois in Focus Daily. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell with America's Talking Network. And also, anywhere you get your podcast, just search Illinois in Focus as we focus on Illinois taking center stage in national politics. Of course, all the turmoil there's been in the national political scene with the horrible debate that happened last month between Trump and Biden, and then Biden essentially all the questions about his competency levels, and the videos showing questionable health concerns, and then you have the attempted assassination on Donald Trump, leading to a successful Republican National Convention. Then the Sunday after that, RNC in Milwaukee, you've got President Biden announcing that he's not going to seek another term and endorsed Kamala Harris. So now it leaves the question as to who's going to be Kamala Harris's vice presidential pick. And Governor J.B. Pritzker has been on that list for a while. CBS Chicago reporting that Pritzker has had vetting interviews as a possible running mate for Harris. And the governor was on MSNBC last night on The Beat, and here's some of what he had to say just in general terms about Harris's chances at the presidency in the upcoming Democratic National Convention, where they'll make it official, but apparently they're going to be voting as delegates remotely as early as next week on Harris's nomination. And here's Pritzker.
Well, I'm a delegate too. I get to vote for Kamala Harris this week. Very excited about that. And of course, we're planning a phenomenal convention here in Chicago. The excitement is palpable. The United Center, which is where the convention will happen, is being spruced up, looking terrific. I just was there the other day. We're going to have, I don't know, about 15, 20, 25,000 people in there, and it's going to be a rocking good time.
So obviously the convention where the center square will be on the ground. Hopefully you can join us in the broadcast each and every morning to give you the recap of what happened the day before. Again, the center square will be at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. Looking forward to giving you those updates. But MSNBC asking the governor about whether he's interested in being the vice president pick for Harris.
Well, listen, I'm not going to talk about the conversations I've had about that. I will say, though, that Kamala Harris is the perfect person at this moment. We've got the kind of palpable excitement, the energy that we really need in the party to carry us to victory in November. And of course, Donald Trump is, I think, bewildered by it all. I don't know that he has any idea how to handle the excitement that's happening on the Democratic side or Kamala Harris herself. Let's face it, I think we've seen that he doesn't want to debate her. He's sort of afraid of her. I'm not exactly sure what it is that keeps him from, admitting that he, should debate her. But I'm excited about the fact that they're going to have a debate because I really think he can't not give in to this. And she's going to prosecute the case. He's a guy who's, 34-time convicted felon, a fraudster. And he's a congenital liar, of course, and he's been held liable for sexual assault. I think there's a lot of fodder there for her, not to mention the extremist views that he brings to the table, which he demonstrated in Chicago yesterday in front of that National Association of Black Journalists meeting.
So the governor saying that Trump is bewildered by Harris, something that others are saying, no, he's looking to debate Harris and calls Harris a fake and so on. So clearly the political rhetoric is still there at certain levels as we continue on towards the November 5th election, but we still got the Democratic National Convention to get through later on this month. So the governor, again, in his question and answer with MSNBC last night, he was asked, directly if he's received vetting materials, and he says he's not going to talk about that conversation. And then the host asks, well, then that means you've had these types of conversations.
Well, naturally, people have called to talk to me about the possibility of being the vice presidential candidate. I'm not going to say who those people were or talk about those conversations, but I'm flattered by all of it. I have to say, and I've said it many times before, being governor of Illinois is, of course, a thrilling experience. We've had a lot of success here, really accomplished quite a lot. We banned assault weapons here. We raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour. We've protected reproductive rights, not just for women who live in Illinois, but also those who are escaping their states, needing to have those reproductive rights upheld. And we've offered that to people who come to our state. So we've got a lot to offer as a state, and I'm thrilled to continue to be governor if that's what is in the cards, and that's actually what I've been expecting all along.
So the governor touts the state of Illinois and his response there to MSNBC about if he is having those conversations, and ultimately has acknowledged now that he is having conversations. But the governor, he also has touted the state in a video that is Democrats Deliver. Here's just a smattering of that video he released through his actual political campaign YouTube channels and other channels. And here is the governor talking about Illinois ahead of the Democratic National Convention.
Maybe you live here, or here, or here. But no matter where you're from, in Illinois, we have someplace like it. We have fields and farms, backyards and business districts, bridges and breweries, churches and civic centers.
And the video goes on to talk about voting rights and LGBTQ rights. Also lays out that, the abortion issue and the Supreme Court issue. But he also talks about creating jobs. He talks about banning assault weapons. He talks about a whole host of things. And expanding background checks and legalizing marijuana and the variety of different things he says is making Illinois a state where Democrats deliver. Again, this is ahead of the Democrats' National Convention in Chicago. But also earlier this week, the governor talked about his record in the labor movement in front of the AFL-CIO.
We invested in education, and as a result, we are in the Midwest. We are #1 for workforce development across the entire center of the country. We invested in education. We raised teacher pay. We lowered the cost of childcare. We raised wages for childcare workers. And we made vocational training and community college affordable to all. Now, these are investments. Yeah, there's a lot of clapping. Let's hold on. These are investments in Illinois for today and for tomorrow.
So the governor's working hard to talk about his record in Illinois when it comes to the economy. But when you look at Illinois' economy compared to neighboring states and the rest of the country, we're higher unemployment rates than the national average. Chicago has a higher unemployment rate than most metro areas, 5% unemployment rates. If you look at some of the surrounding states, you've got lower unemployment rates. And all of this stacking up, Illinois Policy Institute's Bryce Hill says when it comes to job growth, Illinois is not doing that great in the grand scheme, as well as the rest of the country.
The state of Illinois' job growth has been sluggish. Chicago specifically has added virtually no jobs over the past 12 months. Only 500 additional jobs have come in.
Then you've got the question of Chicago, the state's largest metro area, 5% unemployment rate, and not much job growth over the past year.
The state of Illinois' job growth has been sluggish. Chicago, of the 50 largest metro areas in the United States, Chicago has the highest unemployment rate.
Well, it's not just the unemployment rates. You've also got the issue of the mounting debt from the unfunded public pensions. The credit rating is worst in the country, Hill says.
Compared to other states, Illinois' credit rating is dead last in the nation.
So clearly some things that could improve in the state of Illinois, but that hasn't stopped business leaders from across the country, from across the state rather, urging that Vice President Kamala Harris pick Governor Pritzker as her running mate. This coming from Marianne Ahern from NBC Chicago, and the letter signed by a variety of different business leaders, realty groups, businesses, and so on. And the letter ultimately says, as leader of the Illinois business community, we're writing to express our unwavering support for Governor J.B. Pritzker. His leadership has not only revitalized our state's economy, but has also positioned Illinois as a beacon of opportunity and innovation. Governor Pritzker's tenure, marked by fiscal responsibility, job creation, and a commitment to fostering a business-friendly environment that affects companies from across the nation. So, again, take that as it is from those business leaders. But if you look at the past 4 years, let alone the past 7 years or so, remember COVID? Businesses were shut down. Schools were shut down. That wasn't something that then President Trump demanded. That was something that Governor J.B. Pritzker enacted through executive order. And we still haven't really, we've rebounded, but not as quickly as the rest of the country, similar to the Great Recession. So you also got to look at the population decline, and the state continues to lose population. So all of these things compounding together as the governor looks to try to be the VP. But if you go to thecentersquare.com, you can see an article here by Alan Wooten talking about the odds, and tour stops point to Harris choosing Shapiro, who's the Pennsylvania governor. And all indication is that Tuesday, you've got a rally in Pennsylvania where they're expected to do an announcement of who's going to be the VP. So again, all the odds and various campaign stops seeming to point to Shapiro being the potential nominee here as we get ready for some headlines next week. All right, it is Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Thank you so much for being with us each and every weekday morning here with Illinois in Focus. If you are on the live stream and it drops, don't worry. You can get the podcast and the segments. Again, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for America's Talking Network, but search for Illinois in Focus Daily anywhere you get your podcast. It is Illinois in Focus Daily, and I'm Greg Bishop.